it's always great to go and look for like the fundamentals type of certifications or micro credentials, in whatever cloud that you're interested in. People are also part of the life cycle of developing a system as well. So you need, actually, that feedback is what you need to be able to optimize whatever. The thing is, if you don't know something, you'll always think that it's far-fetched.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Nomfundo Ndala. Welcome back to Tech Sister, a platform where we aim to encourage, empower, and educate one episode at a time. And you already know I'm with my co-host.
Hi everyone, I am Tobeka Shabalala. Welcome.
Welcome back. So today we have a guest. We have been meaning to get someone, along this career stream for a very long time. So we have Kanyisile Nobula. Am I saying that correct?
Nobula.
Nobula. Oh, Xhosa.
Okay.
Yes, I'm Xhosa.
Okay, because I feel like, Xhosa people emphasize when they, because I think if it was Zulu, it was going to be Nobula.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome. Kanyisile is an AWS solutions architect, cloud support engineer, architect associate, and she has, quite some titles to her name. So maybe let me not take that away from you. Please introduce yourself. Tell us more about yourself. Who is Kanyisile?
So I am Kanyisile Nobula.
Yes.
I am a solutions architect by profession, but I am a public sector solutions architect.
Okay.
I work for Amazon Web Services.
Nice.
I have been working for the organization for 8 years, 6 months, and 17 days.
Oh my God.
It's been fun. So I have a background in engineering. So I was a cloud support engineer for the longest time.
Okay.
Then transitioned into the solutions architect role.
Okay. But how did you get now into this industry? Tech, to be exact. How did you get into IT? What did you study? Where did you go? How did you find out about IT?
Wow, you see, for me, I feel like IT was like, I always say that it's my destiny or my soulmate or forced marriage.
Okay.
Or at least star-crossed lovers. So I love arts. So I was into the slam poetry, all of that. So I was one of those artsy people. But tech was always something that was there in my life. It always featured. But I was like, oh, okay. So I remember when I was younger, Microsoft Windows 98 came out. So my mom decided, no, Saturdays go do these extra lessons.
Okay.
I think I was in grade 2 or grade 1. So I went to those extra lessons and I would find myself, in tech. I remember when she chose my subjects, she also chose computer application technology. So how I ended up doing it in varsity is that I was not finding space. I wanted to do maybe architecture or something in arts. And they were like, okay, here's something open. Tried it out. And that's how I got into IT.
Okay.
But was it something that I was always, or I felt like is some form of talent? Yes, because I've always played around with computers and when I was younger, so I was always that girl. Like, if you want to burn a CD, so I was that girl, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So particularly, what did you study? Is it a computer science degree? Which one was it?
So I have an interesting one. So I studied IT, right? And I'm a dropout, actually. So I studied IT, and there was a year. It was just tough. I think back in my time, it was not easy to get NSFAS or any kind of form of bursary back then. And this one year, I was like, okay, I'm taking a break from school. So my mom and my grandmother, we sit down, we're like, okay, let's take a break, save up a bit, and then you'll go back the following year. But me being me, I was like, okay, I felt like my brain is in a jar. And one of my best friends, childhood best friends, was working at a radio station. She was like, yeah, we need like an IT person there. So I went to Nelson Mandela.
Okay.
It was Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University back then.
Okay.
So I went to see one of my lecturers, and she was like, okay, let me write you a reference letter.
Okay.
And through that, I got my first IT gig.
Okay.
And from there, I started getting other jobs because I would go into a space. I'm the only person, and I interned a lot.
Okay.
And eventually, I started getting
Something.
like proper jobs. Yeah, after that.
So ever since you've never gone back to school?
No. I've tried, but I think also our journeys are different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason not to say okay, people should not go to school, but there's other ways, right? If the traditional way does not work for you, then you can try other ways. And what I love about technology is that it's more skill driven more than
Sure.
anything. So you can maybe know how to define something, but can you actually do it? And so that's the question. So it's more hands-on. And another thing that I love is that should you decide maybe you were doing nursing and you want to do tech, it's one of those things that are very accommodating.
They are.
So yeah, they're very accommodating. I tried to go back to school to work a number of times, and then and then different things would happen, would hinder me not going to school, like records being missing, like crazy. I was like, no, this is
a
not my
sign.
story.
Yeah.
And it's okay, and it's
Okay.
okay, and it's okay. Yeah.
And Maraluna tsenang school.
Please.
Yeah, they should. They should.
So now let's fast forward to you today as a solution architect. What does a typical day in your life as a solution architect at AWS look like?
A typical day, so it also depends on the day, really. So as a solutions architect, we do different things. So I'm a pre-sale solutions architect, and I work more in the public sector space,
Okay.
but focusing on the government vertical. So that would be your metropolitans, local municipality, national NPOs and NGOs.
Okay.
But I also support other customers in Africa, but in public sector as well, but more in the education space. So I have one customer in Nigeria in like education. So it depends on what the customer needs. So the days where we'll do proof of concepts, the customer would come with a business statement saying, hey, I'm trying to solve this problem, or hey, I'm trying to do this.
Okay.
So what we do is I would take the customer's problem and then map it into the technology or solve that problem. Right. And this would be more of a collaboration between the customer, everyone who's involved, from IT to the business executives, so that we can whiteboard what is needed. So that's one of the things that we do. Another thing is what we call immersion days, which is like workshops where customers would come through, have hands-on experience on how to use certain technologies. Let's say, for example, a customer is moving from on-premises. They want to now move to the cloud. So we'll have like a journey to the cloud type of workshop that's introducing and different things, right? Some want to learn about generative AI, ML, big data. So depending on whatever use case the customer has, then we'll map it to the technology. So other things would be, of course, public speaking and supporting our partners, because we work with partners as well, and building solutions for customers, like in terms of design as well. So yeah, it just depends on the day. So sometimes you get that. So I'm in public sector, so that also means that I'm also a technical writer. In terms of RFPs and RFIs. So you'd have to now be able to respond to that. Right,
interested in this career.
and help partners with that as well. So I think it's just us SAs who are solutions architects who are in the public sector space, because those are not saying that RFPs and RFIs are not popular and commercial. But in terms of how the how public sector acquires technology. So it's like a very interesting process, a very interesting like tender-based process.
Sounds
Yeah.
interesting.
So you hardly do like one thing.
Yeah. And that's what I love. And
Yeah.
I hardly work with one technology as well, which is crazy because when I was an engineer, I was a subject matter expert for one of our storage file system and storage technologies called Amazon FSX for NetApp on Tap. So coming from focusing only on, I think I had 21 skills that I was supporting at the time, and coming into a space where it's quite dynamic and you don't know what to expect. It's always interesting because you get to collaborate with other people, and because it's an international organization, it's so nice to learn from other colleagues and share knowledge. So it's always very interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting, honestly.
I think, like speaking about how you transitioned from engineering and then to solution architect, I think there's been like obviously some changes in your career, but I want to ask, like, how has your own career evolved ever since you joined the organization?
Yeah, a lot. So I came from an ISP
Okay.
background, and also more of your host master
Okay.
domain master as well background. So more of networking.
Yeah.
And when I came into AWS, which was funny because it took me a minute. It took me a minute, and
I know.
I had to apply for different things, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I am gonna apply for whatever I get.
Okay.
Once I'm inside, I will see.
Okay.
And that has been one of the best decisions I've ever made for my career, to actually try to do what I believe is what I want.
Okay.
So I got in there, started in a not so technical, but not more of like frontline type of support, more
Okay.
accounts technical role. Then from there, I was like, okay, I'm inside now. You guys will see what I'm capable of. And I remember I used to say that, I'm like, well, where I'm going is the solutions architect role eventually. But it's like, it doesn't make sense. But yeah.
So you knew.
You knew what you wanted and
You paved your way
carved
there,
it.
yeah.
I think as people, we always know what we want. It's just that we're not confident in what we want, right? Or there's other factors. And I'm so grateful for the mother that I have, because we might not have had money,
Okay.
but hope.
Yeah.
I have that in abundance, and I'm able to, if I decide on something, it doesn't matter if people can see it. If it won't make sense to you,
As long as you...
as long as it makes sense to
Sure.
me, then that's okay. That's okay. But also hard work and a lot of networking and another unpopular opinion, and kindness as well.
Oh.
Yes. I think one of the most things that have helped me to be where I am, kindness is actually 40% of it, because I'll find myself, I love teaching. So every week I teach cloud computing to wonderful, amazing interns. I always tell them that you're the best thing that ever happened to me this year. They're in Eswatini.
Okay.
So we do cloud computing every week. I think also that has propelled me in a way. And before that, I would teach people how to code. And before that, there's always something that I'm doing that puts me in a position where someone sees me and says, hey, come through, I have this. And it's crazy, but God is good.
Sure. You know what?
We don't have enough time today.
So, you've spoken about so many things that you do, especially in your role. If you were to sum it up in a way that someone would understand, what does a solution architect do exactly? Or, just that role, what is it? What do you do as a solution architect? But besides everything else that is built into your day specifically.
As solutions architect, we help organizations realize their technical infrastructure to be able to perform in the way that they want or reach their technical potential. So it would be, just to make it a bit more simple, it's taking a problem or taking an idea and making and mapping it to the technology.
Okay.
Last time we had a solution architect, but she was more of software development kind, and because she had software development experience and expertise, I think from a development or coding perspective, you would need to like have the knowledge, because if we're saying, okay, we're going to build a new application, right? Then an architect are the ones that need to advise to say, okay, you need to use this framework, you need to use this database because it maps well to this framework, and then you need to store the data here, get the data, use this security, and. But in like from a cloud perspective, or from your side, do you need to be like coding smart? Like, do you need to know how to write code? What do you need to be able to thrive in this role? Like, can someone just come in and be like, I want to be a solution architect, without having, because, which is what I'm saying, from a software development perspective, they are very strict on the number of years you must have worked in coding. You must have coded like for 10 years plus, whatever the case may be, because maybe they're not confident that you won't know and solve for the problem. Is it the same case?
It's different, I think, because the solutions architect role is quite diverse. It's like a spectrum of it. So you get ones that specialize in software.
Okay.
So you get your ones that would specialize on enterprise solutions architects. So they'll specialize more on enterprise systems and everything. And then you get your pre-sale solutions architect.
Okay.
And then within that space also, you get certain solutions architects that specialize in certain things. And not all solutions architects are cloud native, right?
Okay.
Some solutions architects are more on, even like when you look for a job, you need to understand, okay, am I a cloud solutions architect, or am I more of a private cloud solutions architect, more of a data center solutions architect?
Okay.
Because there is a difference. Most of our organizations already have a technical landscape that's on-prem, and they are comfortable with having on-prem, and you would need a solutions architect for that as well.
Okay.
In terms of what you should have, what kind of experience, I think for solutions architects, you must have done some career that involves technology at some point in your life.
Okay.
If, for example, you said that the last guest that was here, she was a software developer and then transitioned into that. I was an engineer for the longest time,
Okay.
and then transitioned into that. You must have some. You must have some form of understanding of technology.
Okay.
High level, I think, across the board. Like, I'm a general solutions architect.
Okay.
So I need to have a general understanding of different things. From a CI/CD perspective, from infrastructure as a code, from databases, from virtual machines, everything really, AI, ML. So you have to have like a broad understanding. Also, when you are a technical person, whether you went to school or not, there's a certain way that you think,
Okay.
right? I think even with that, it's quite important, because you can a new problem can come to you, but you will be able to know, okay, what is the most basic thing that I need to do to solve this problem?
Okay.
So like you have to have some form of background in this computer sciences IT world, and then eventually in these different streams of solutions architect. But I don't think that it's something that you could decide as a non-technical person and say, I'm going to go straight into
Solutions.
being a solutions architect. I think that industry experience brings everything together.
Okay, that makes sense. It's
So,
it's
okay.
it's like when maybe someone brings a laptop to you and said, "Did you try switching it on and off? My
Yes.
laptop is
Yeah.
giving me issues." So, as like someone in tech, you would know. Okay,
Yes.
switch it on and off first,
And
and then we'll see.
all right. So, of course, there's a need for background, but what are beginner-friendly ways that people can get into this? So, yes, I might not go directly to be a software. I mean, an architect, right? A software architect. But are there beginner-friendly ways, certificates, or communities, or anything that people can join to say, I'm carving my way to becoming an AWS solution architect?
So that one is very interesting. I think you can. I think because personally I believe that one, nothing is directly proportional to time.
Okay.
I think also that's also another thing that with tech, you don't, if you're really serious and you want to know what you want to know, you can expose yourself. You can. You don't necessarily have to take like 10 years or 12 years to actually get to that stage. I think where we are in terms of technology, like for example, with these emerging technologies like AI, no one really codes. Right, so it's a no code, low code type
Yeah.
of click ops type of world, and I think I'm also cognizant of the fact that now there's a shift in the IT world or the computer science world that it might not take people that long to be able to do certain things. I think it's always great to go and look for like the fundamentals type of certifications or micro credentials, what in whatever cloud that you're interested in. For example, on AWS, you'd look for an AWS Cloud Practitioner certification. That actually makes you understand this whole cloud and how everything comes together. And then once you actually sit and you realize, no, man, this is actually a computer that's sitting somewhere else
In the cloud.
in the cloud. But the way you would install anything on a local computer, you do the same thing on the cloud. So whenever I explain this to them, so no, it's still the same computer. It's just not local to you. You just need to go through over the internet or some form of connection to go to it, but you'd still interact with it the same way.
It's interesting. I think that like, and I keep saying, man, I feel like solutions architects are goated. I don't know. I feel like
It feels like one of those.
exactly like I feel like I look up to solutions architect. I look up to them and I'm like, yo, Mara, you guys are smart. Do you know? Like, because building a solution, someone saying, okay, I want an application, or we want to build XYZ, and like building the whole infrastructure to say, okay, this is what you're meant to do.
And there's just these drawings that they explain. This
Like this one connects to this one. I just feel like, man, these people are powerful. But how does this role then differ from like DevOps? Because are DevOps people doing the same thing? Because sometimes I get confused.
Okay. That's a very interesting. That's a great question. I like it because it's the confusion. I understand how the confusion is, because now when you're talking DevOps, you also like talking more of like infrastructure as a code, where they would have a template and deploy an entire infrastructure.
Exactly.
But there was a solutions architect behind that, right?
Okay.
So it's maybe and the reason I'm saying that is that like I focused on Linux a lot. So when you're a Linux person, you kind of have that relationship, because once upon a time I wanted to dabble in DevOps.
Okay.
So it's more of like your CI/CD type of approach, and infrastructure as a code. So before they don't sit down and actually plan, but they actually automate how the deployment would actually look like. But I'm sure they would tell you best
Yeah.
how a devil. But that's the difference. But because before that template exists, there's a solutions architect who has planned that we need this amount of number of nodes. We need a auto scaling group here. We need this. We need that. We need that. And then it's like, okay. And then they go and then, automate all of that. And then it's just a one-click deployment.
Nice.
I think I would feel some imposter syndrome in this role.
Why?
It's like you should know, like, because you are the building blocks of everything that then comes thereafter.
Because if you give me an architecture and say,
like, can I say, okay, right now, like, I just don't know, but I'll come back to you guys. Will they trust you as a solution architect?
Come back.
I think that's a lot of it is like you need to sit back with a problem statement. I never have a response right now for the customer.
Okay.
One, it's always deeper than what it may seem. And also, I don't want to be quick to respond, and I don't actually understand what they need. And also, there's like you need to also fine tune whatever you're building. So you continue to probe them. Okay, is this what you need and stuff? And we don't know everything. I think that's also another thing is that with imposter syndrome, the minute you get to understand that we're all imposters, you'll get comfortable because we're all trying to figure it out. But I don't know everything. But what has helped me is that I know how to find the answers or who to ask. Because you always collaborate, right? If I'm building a system and it's more of a software and I'm not building that system, maybe the software development people are building that solution. They tell me what they need. They know what they want more than I do. So it's more of like taking everything and also talking to the business executives because it needs to also make business and financial sense as well. And then you take those things and you bring them together.
Okay.
But I get why you would feel imposter because if I built a system and then people saying, yeah, but it's not really integrating properly with this, and you come back to me, no, I don't know, most.
I used what you gave me.
It's like that. I think it's always a work in progress, right? It's once you just realize, zinto zakhona. It's like, okay, it doesn't integrate well because they are we must not forget that people are also part of the life cycle of developing a system as well. So you need, actually that feedback is what you need to be able to optimize whatever, right, for it to work well. It's actually what drives the whole thing.
Speaking of imposter syndrome, how has it been being a female in this industry? It's such a male-dominated industry. How have you found like navigating? I'm pretty sure you've entered some conversations or rooms and you were the only female there. How have you navigated that, and how do you deal with that? So that you don't feel like I don't belong here.
Yes,
I think there's never a time that I was not like the only girl or one of the girls. Like I was like always the only girl. So for me, it's like, it's normal.
Okay.
Right. And another thing is that men are the best teachers.
Sometimes. Depends on which man.
Yes, right. And also it depends on which women, right?
Okay.
Because I do a whole lot of mentoring of women. Some people really don't want to learn. And there's people who are okay because, give you a scenario that we've all experienced as women, where, you find yourself that, you're in a room and then there's a task and then everyone gives you the less complicated task.
Yes. Ish.
Then when you're sitting down, you need to decide, are you going to take that task? Or are you going to say, hey, I don't want to do this. I want to do something else. I think also we need to kind of think of it in a different way or take a different approach, because we'll always find ourselves wanting. We need to force. Also, another thing about me is that, which is like, I think most women like me, I'm a masculine woman in tech, and there's a difference.
Okay.
The difference is we can men bullshit a lot, and it's an amazing, admirable skill,
Yes.
right?
Confidence.
And the confidence, and that's one of the things that I've learned, which is beautiful. One of my greatest mentors have been men, and it also helped me to be able to, because you have people that are not evolved as well, because I also find myself in spaces that am sitting and I'm the only woman again in a space of men, and they're not evolved, and then you find yourself, I'm always the last one to speak because I want to say the smartest thing so you can say
Okay.
but I think it's quite hard, and I think that's one of the things that I love mentoring women, is that I get to that first conversation where I said to you that you find yourself in a room and there's a task. When they ask you, or when they give you a task, do you take the task of doing the easy work? Remember, Guinea, they took you to university to go and study.
Yeah.
And you studied the same amount of years as your male counterpart. In fact, you maybe even did it in record time as well, right? And then you get into a room, and then you minimize yourself without even because I can tell you this: once you decide to do differently, men treat you differently. Like I can tell you now, in my space, the men that I've been exposed to, they see me as a contributor who would say something that is tangible and has weight, and they want to understand what I think, or even if they need help, they see me as someone that can solve that problem. Same applies to me in how I see them. I think we need to start teaching young girls on that first day, because once you make the right choice from the beginning, no one can ever, like, even if when you go to a different company or you go to a different space, you've already built that confidence, and also that confidence in the technical ability, right? Because now you're not doing those small tasks.
Yeah.
So I hear the intrinsic part, right? Being the one doing the work. But is there anything that organizations can do to help in this situation where women still feel like, yes, because we are in a male dominated space, and it's not, it takes some time, it takes work to get to a place where you really feel like, yes, I've cemented myself and I can speak with the confidence that everyone else has, right? So is there anything that maybe organizations out there can maybe do to, especially cloud computing? Because I'm hearing you say you find yourself a lot in these spaces, whereas, for example, in the software engineering spaces in other companies, it's shifting a bit. Like we've got testers, we've got business analysts and so forth. It is shifting a bit, but cloud computing, just like the mere software architect, is still very male dominated. But so what work can be put in there by organizations?
I think some organizations are trying to have policies in place where there's like a ratio when it comes to the males and females in a certain space. I think that has also been helpful. I think we're doing better than we were before. than we were doing before. And another thing is there's a lot more women in tech initiatives than we had before, which is amazing. And even platforms like these, right?
Yes.
And I feel like all we're still young, right? We're catching up. Men have been working since the beginning of time, and
Yep.
women started working in the 1920s. So there'll always be that gap. But I think we are doing better than before. And also the way that women are thinking now is also, there's a whole lot of girl power. And there's also a lot of sisterhood in the tech space as well.
Yeah.
I think organizations are starting to see and also support that kind of movement. I'm seeing private companies also hosting women in tech and sponsoring those type of spaces. And there's a lot of programs that are dedicated to mentoring women as well. I think organizations are trying. I just think that we should also step up a bit or just show face. As women, we over-index on everything, right?
Yeah.
There would be a post and it says, we need 5 things. And I'm like, oh, shucks, I have 4. A guy has 2, they will apply.
Yes.
That is true.
I think once we start also showing up, and we are showing up. I'm seeing like most of the tech companies execs in Africa, in tech companies are women, including mining. So it's actually very nice to actually go into a space and you see someone like you, who's a mother,
Yep.
who's a wife, who's a partner. It's quite interesting. I think we're getting there. We're getting there.
I remember having a conversation, I don't remember with who, and they asked me, why are we so like fixated on women in tech, women in this industry, women. And it relates to what you're saying. If I enter a room and I don't see someone I'm able to relate to, like a familiar being, to say, oh, here's another woman, and it's a room full of men, and I enter the room, and as much as maybe it'd be like, oh, I'm the only woman, it can give you a lot of power, a little bit of power for yourself to be like, okay, this means I'm capable because I am in a room full of other men. But then it's also very difficult because it's just like, will my voice be heard amongst all of these men? Because they will try their best to, make me feel small and whatever the case may be. But if I see another woman, let's say if I'm going networking, the first person I will want to maybe chat to and smile to will probably be a woman. I'll probably go stand next to a woman, compliment their hair, compliment their nails, or whatever the case may be, say something, and maybe we'll get off on a light note about, I don't know, the Real Housewives, or like something relatable for the both of us. So this is why we need other women. It's not because we want support for one another, because sometimes maybe you won't relate to me as a man. Actually, not sometimes, most of the time. You won't relate. And I heard, I created an analogy. Ne? This was when I was feeling less confident in something I did. And so I was dressing up and I was wearing socks. 80% of the time, I don't wear like matching socks. But that day, I wore matching socks, I was like, oh, I'm wearing matching socks. So if something happens today, I can be able to take off my shoes with confidence. And then my brother said, when I was leaving, are you wearing matching socks? And I said, yes. He said, are you sure? I said, yes, I'm sure, because I wore those socks. I took them out, so I know what I did. So I think, and after that day, I was like, but if I'm wearing matching socks, I know I'm wearing matching socks. Why would someone else make me doubt? Because why was he asking me if I'm sure? I know I wore matching socks. And I think that was, ever since that day, if I'm unsure about something, like, but I know I did it. I did it, so I know. So I think this is just like the confidence. We have to move with the same confidence that men move with. They're confident about like nothing. they will do a small task and make it seem like
Huge.
Oh my gosh! And you know what? That's the reason I was saying men are the best mentors when it comes to that, or the best bullshitters. I love it.
yeah.
You know, there's two ways you look at this. Like when you see someone do that, right? You see it as like, this one is too forward. But then again, did they not get that promotion?
They did. Hey, and they did. And you're just like, but what did you do? Yo,
So
like,
it's just like, yeah, I think we just need to also start playing the game.
Yep.
I think once we start playing the game, we'll just get to realize that, hey, we can actually do it. And I would tell someone, like, people steal ideas all the time.
Yep.
yes.
Like all the time. You can maybe say something and then you maybe tell it to a male colleague. Not saying that males are our enemies, but it's things that happen.
Yeah.
Or you just say it quietly in the meeting room and someone says it out loud and it's like, great idea, so and so. And then you just like, darn it.
If only I.
If only I. But don't you think it would be great if you actually do it? I always say, even if you're an introvert, but to your decision maker being your manager or wherever your money comes from, there you need to shine. On that one-on-one, you need to shine. You need to tell them, I did this. If maybe you feel like you can't do it in front of people. But the people that are the decision makers should know what you are doing. And you should own your work. Right? You don't have to be the loudest person in the room because, you know, we women, everything is cutesy. But there's a way you can play that game in a cutesy way.
Sure. Okay. And then, so we kind of had so many messages already to someone who wants to get into tech and just your role. But is there a specific message you have for young women or girls who are maybe intimidated by, like, I mean, we've also just said, like, solutions architects seem like so intelligent and whatever, but they might be intimidated by just tech as a whole, or just being a solution architect. It's like, oh, this is a scary thing. Any specific message that you'd have for them if they are intimidated, but it's like, I want it, but it intimidates me too?
What I would say first is just like, you are exactly who you think you are. You are exactly who you think you are. And always go to the people that are in that space to find out. Research is very important. The thing is, if you don't know something, you'll always think that it's far-fetched.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
But when you go to someone who's doing it, they're like, no, actually, this is not that hard. I can tell you now, most of the things that we studied in university, we don't really apply them. They just taught us how to think in a certain way. But now, after you take that experience and you go and work at something totally different, I think we just, as young women in the tech space, you need to go find a mentor, whether it's another peer, maybe it's someone that you went to school with that is already doing this tech thing. And also people are quite busy. Maybe try a number of people to understand, hey, what's happening here? Because you'd maybe find out that this is not as hard as you think it is. You just need someone to show you, this is where you start. This is point A, B, C, D. You start here, and once you're there, you'll crawl and you start walking. I don't think it's a hard thing. I think it's a thing of knowing where to get the information on how to start.
Okay. That's a beautiful message.
Yeah.
And I think this is why it is important for, especially in, underprivileged townships or whatever the case may be, for young girls to be exposed to these careers. Because I keep, like, over and over and over again, career day, my mom's a teacher, every day career day, I just keep seeing nurses. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. No one's saying I want to be a software engineer. If they're saying engineering, they're saying the
They're talking
famous
about-
ones,
yes,
the
yes.
mechanical engineering, the civil engineering, but no one's talking about, I want to be a data scientist. Like, if they're saying scientist, they're just saying scientist and the one that works in a lab. But there's just so many careers. And then when people get to varsity, they choose careers because
That's all I know.
that's
Yeah.
all they know, because they've never been exposed to this. So, but that's why the tech sisters are here.
Of course.
Anywho, so what trends in AWS or cloud computing in general are you most excited about right now? If someone maybe wants to get into cloud computing, you know, these are things they could look at.
AI.
Okay.
And I think also what's nice about the AI thing, you can start with AI.
Okay.
There's a lot of emerging career paths that were not here 3 years, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing AI engineer. We're like, where did this come from? But those early adapters of AI and ML technologies are the first beneficiaries of these new career paths. I think exposing yourself to the Gen AI, there's a lot of foundational certifications. There's a free code camp on YouTube as well. Like, there are these platforms without having to go the Udemy way, for example. You can go on YouTube, watch a free video, follow someone there, and do your research on the side.
Okay.
Some of the things that I've learned, I would go and buy a textbook. For example, now I have a machine learning textbook that I'm reading. It's a prescribed textbook in university, and then I'm like, okay, I want to understand how maths and stats and how this is, how everything is formed. But right now, the AI stuff, because organizations are also adapting the technology, but there's not enough skill set internally.
Yeah.
Oh.
For AI, especially generative AI and now agentic AI, which is the new conversation.
Okay.
So once you start adapting those skills, even from a tester perspective, from a business analysis perspective, right? Data scientists, like anywhere in the tech space, you are able to get a job, for example, right? Because now there's a new craze on these technologies, and people can at least go and start and say, okay, I'm going to learn Gen AI, and then I'm going to start building Gen AI applications or focus on Gen AI in this way. Then
Good to
the the world is your oyster. I think now in this new age, that's what's coming. Yeah.
And I think you touched on this a bit, like staying current in your role. Like you're saying you're buying textbooks. I'm like, wait, is it a textbook or is it an actual book? Because I buy books. So how do you stay current in this cloud ecosystem? Like, I guess textbooks.
So my friends all work in tech, right? Which is another thing.
Nice.
Is that some of my friends I've met in different roles in different places, and we all like in tech. Most of my friends. Another thing is the organization that I work for really helps, because whenever there's an emerging technology, we are one of the first to build maybe that type of technology or offer it. So it also gives me the opportunity to play around with it. And also social platforms like LinkedIn are quite helpful in the sense that you get to see what's trending right now. I think that is the most simple way to actually see, okay, what's new? Because when AI started coming through on LinkedIn, everyone...
Yeah.
And then people started having courses. We were like, we just found out about DeepSeek yesterday. You already have 20 hours of content.
Come on now.
So so it's quite an interesting space, that LinkedIn.
Okay. Now, just before we close off,
We could talk forever, right?
yeah, we could. What was the first AWS service that you used?
the first service that I used was S3
And everyone.
and Cloud
But didn't we start with Lambda?
Front.
I think I started with S3 because I think
Really?
it was the simplest thing to
Yeah.
understand. It's
Oh,
like
yeah, but yeah.
storage.
Yes.
It's just
And you could have your static website there.
Yes,
So for me, it was like S3, CloudFront type of setup, doing my first static website and uploading some files. And then after that, I was like, okay,
good thing you got like
do this.
AWS is just so
And I've been
much.
dying to ask, right? Are you working towards like the 12 certification to get that gold jacket? Like,
That no was so fast. Yeah, like no.
no.
why?
I think that has its people.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'm also curious about other technologies that I always say I'm a solutions architect first before I'm an AWS solutions architect.
Okay.
So I would not want to limit myself only, which is very interesting. The first cloud I played with was Azure before and Google Cloud before AWS.
Okay.
So for me, it's like I'm like, okay, 12 jackets and no, but 12 certification no. But I also have certain certifications that I feel like are more aligned to what I want to do.
Okay.
I feel like the other ones, I would learn something that I won't use. I could have been, maybe learning another certification somewhere else that is related to me and just seeing, okay, how does Google see AI and ML, for example?
Okay.
Okay.
So-
No, it's a good outlook.
Yeah. And what do you think is the most underrated AWS tool in your opinion?
Ooh. Underrated tool.
And that you feel like people are sleeping on the surface.
So there's a new service called Cairo.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's like your code whisperer type of service.
Okay.
Type of technology. I think what you can do with that as a software developer is insane.
That I've been researching,
and
watching.
and other things. So I feel like it's the most slept on
Okay.
tool that we have.
Okay.
But then again, we just recently introduced it. But once people
Okay.
start like working
Using
with
it.
it, it's just like
Okay. Okay.
I was very interested in a technology where they say, for example, you can take your C# code like as is, and then it transforms it into cloud like quickly.
exactly.
I'm like,
Is
why
it?
haven't we done that?
Why haven't you done that?
I don't own the company.
And it does that. And you can just like take something and then also transform it to any runtime that you can possibly
Yes.
think of.
Because
Wow.
apparently one of the companies was moving, was it C++ and Java code, and it was like seamless process to move it into the cloud.
Nice.
Like, interesting.
And yeah, we need like things like that. So it's quite once you get exposed to it in your organization, you'll find it very interesting. Or once you expose yourself, you'd find that it's a very interesting one. I've always been interested in software development. I think because it was just a module that I did
Okay.
first year and second year. So it's always just been there. Or sometimes I wanna, as an engineer, I want to solve something. So I'd write like a bit of code for me to be able to. So I always have that like on the side to be able to, because I like testing out. I like writing like internally for the organizations. I have written blogs to solve common problems, especially for the technology that I was a subject matter, or I am a subject matter expert for. So, you'd find yourself, but I script a lot because I'm a Linux person, so I script a lot.
Okay.
So learning a bit of code there, for just to get by, helps. But it also helps now with these new technologies. At least you can see that no, this is not what I wanted. And
People are vibe coding.
and they were vibe coding. We're out here.
No, but thank you so much for coming. It has been such an interesting
too
conversation.
insightful.
Yeah, like we could go on and on and on and on. But I'm pretty sure we'll invite you next time again to
I'd be happy to come back again, ladies.
Yes.
Thank you.
to speak about other things, AI, the cloud, and so on. But thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, my awesome
much,
sisters. This has been wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything from your side?
Oh, good. I'll start another conversation if I start. So, okay. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. Do not forget to like, to share, to subscribe, comment, and until next time,
Bye.
bye.